Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Scott from HZadeducation. Today we're jumping all the way to the end of the PTE Academic test, and that's the listening section. Now, the listening is not just about understanding and hearing English, it's actually about knowing the algorithms for the exam in order to maximize our score. You'll get 8 different question types from listening, but did you know that more than 50% of your listening score actually comes from the speaking section? That's because it's an integrated exam, and that's how PTE calculates your score. So we need to understand all of it. Now in this video, I'll show you what to listen for in the exam, what you can totally ignore, and how to get a predictable listening score. Let's start off with the most important tip that I can give for everyone. PTE Academic exam, all exams for that matter, are about skills and tactics. It's not about all of your intelligence. I know, it's unfortunate. So what we really want to know is that some questions look difficult, but they have very low value, low score. Some questions are, well, they're also difficult, but they have a high value, high score. Today, we're going to be prioritizing the high score questions because that's what you need to do on the exam. Now, you'll have around 31 to 39 minutes for the entire listening section, and speed is necessary. I want to show you where we can save time, where we can use time, and where we need to maximize time as well. Now, as you can see here, we have some heavy hitters when it comes to scores. So if you waste time, you'll lose a lot of marks. So this is really important that we focus on time management. Follow these tips and you will do definitely fine on the listening part of the exam. All right, let's begin with part 1 for the listening section. That is summarize a spoken text. Now you'll have 10 minutes to do this task. However, that also includes the audio and it includes proofreading. So really you're looking at about 7 minutes to actually summarize the written text. Now, in order to get full points here, we need to aim for around 65 words. Definitely, structure is going to matter more than your content. So what that means is we need to use a general template in order to make sure that all of our sentences line up and that we've covered all material. Now, the good thing is that academic lectures follow a very predictable structure. I can guarantee you they're all going to follow this similar structure. They'll start with their topic. That will be the first sentence or the first minute of the lecture. Topic, main idea, they'll usually have 2 supporting ideas following that. And then at the end, there's some type of implication, like why this matters or who cares. Therefore, when we do our summary, we're going to follow almost the same structure. This template should not be used verbatim, but you should understand the template and be able to use it flexibly so that if you need to change some words, you have the ability to do it. Now, just a quick tip. When you're listening to the audio, don't write full notes, but do keep track of some of the main ideas. I like to write my notes something like this, where I have the main idea, then I have bullet points for topic 1, topic 2. If they have any examples, I'll write the examples there. You could also use the Cornell note-taking method, whatever works for you. Just make sure that your notes are messy. They shouldn't be organized or well written because we're working on speed. Now you're ready to actually go ahead and write the summary. You'll follow some type of structure like this, where you start with your topic sentence. The lecture discussed, So what's the main idea? What's the lecture? And then we're getting into our main 2 points or the 2 supporting ideas, which will be something like, firstly, he mentioned that, or we might say, firstly, he argued that, then this highlights, or following that, this happened. And we could use transitional words here like first, second, third, or we can use firstly, additionally, or however, if there is some type of contrast. So we have topic sentence, main idea 1, main idea 2. We're coming to the conclusion. We'll need to write one more sentence or at least part of a sentence. It might be combined with the one before. And that'll be something like concluding that or in conclusion. Now, it's pretty tough to get many sentences into 65 words. So we're looking at about 3 sentences in total. Topic sentence, main ideas, conclusion sentence. Now there is negative marking for incorrect grammar, incorrect spelling, so be sure to proofread for at least 1 minute. All right, let's move on to the middle section. We're on task 2. These are some of the low scoring areas that I really don't want you to put too much attention on. Things like multiple choice, multiple answer, very low value, and it includes negative marking, so you want to be sure to at least attempt an answer. You're only going to spend a few seconds here, so if initially you don't know the answer, that's okay, but make sure you are selecting one option. Multiple choice, multiple answer, you should have at least one, perhaps one or two more. Fill in the blanks. Now this only gives you points for listening. Previously it had points for other sections in the exam, but we're going to make sure that our spelling is perfect. I think most students lose marks here because they misspell or they use the wrong form of the verb or wrong form of the noun. So make sure your spelling and your grammar is pretty excellent in this section. You're going to want to spend only 50 seconds per question here, and the timing is really important because we are saving time to the end of the exam. We are banking it to the end. Now, just a quick note, in Summarize a Written Text, you don't get any rollover time. If you don't use the 10 minutes, it's finished. But in the second part of the listening exam, for pretty much all other questions, the time does get carried over into the next question. And this is important because we are banking time to the end of the exam. So these questions here, just kind of go through them, 50 seconds. Still give it your best shot, but don't waste time. Continuing on, we've got highlight correct summary, multiple choice, single answer, and select a missing word. Also, all very, very low scoring, about 1 to 2 points per each. So again, we need to save time here. Give it your best shot. Move on to the next one. If you're not 100% confident, make sure you do select an answer because you will get a -1 if you don't select it. These ones you can practice at home, but we won't spend a lot of time on it. The next big heavy hitter is highlight incorrect words. Now this one is extremely important. We get a lot of points from this one in listening and reading, so in multiple sections. The best thing to do here is don't listen for the content or the understanding of the audio. Instead, focusing on just words, word for word for word. It will move fast and it will have a variety of accents. So when you're practicing at home, you can turn the speed up to 1.25 or 1.5 on a YouTube video or other videos and try to follow along verbatim. That means word for word. The audio is going to match the text until there's one disruption. So what you should be doing is reading it as you are listening to it, as you are looking at it. That way we have 3 different points of contact. When you hear or say something different from the audio, then you're going to highlight that word. Now, keep your cursor moving very quickly. You're going to highlight all words that you think are incorrect. If there are some that you're not really sure, make a note of it, make a mental note and come back to that one because there is negative marking. So if you highlight a word thinking it's incorrect, but actually it is correct, then you'll get a -1 on that. So go with the words you know first, those are incorrect, and then move on to ones that you're not really sure about. Quick side note, guys, I'm Scott from HZad Education. Our sole purpose is to help you pass the PTE Academic, especially if you're using it for Australian immigration, New Zealand, if you're using it for job applications, etc. So if you are about to take the PTE Academic test, do check out our channel. Get in touch with us if you want one-on-one tutoring, because that's where you really get the most benefit. All right, back to the video. Okay, welcome to the big boss. This is right from dictation. It's at the end of the exam and it has the highest marks for the listening section. In fact, it has gone down. Before it had more marks, but it's still at 18 points and it's still the highest in the listening section, so we need to be careful with it. Big tip, there is no negative marking, and I'm going to explain why that's important in just a second. So you're going to listen to an audio, very short audio, and you have to write down word for word what you are hearing. So let's say, for example, this audio says, The man was carrying a briefcase. Okay, what you need to be doing is on your notes, write just the initials, not the words, especially if you are a slow typer. So if you don't type very fast, start by writing just the initials. So instead of writing the full sentence like, the man was carrying a briefcase, we might write something like this, TMWCA briefcase, if you could get the full word in. From there, you will transfer your notes to the actual exam. This is a very helpful strategy and we use it with all of our students. It ensures that you get every single word because remember, you need to get all words to get maximum points. If you're typing slow, then you'll probably lose the last few words. Try to get into the habit of this. Practice at home by watching or listening to videos and just pick one random sentence and write it down using only the initials. Now, the second big tip that almost feels illegal to tell you about is that there is no negative marking. Now, we've tested this. It actually works. But what we're going to do is if you are unsure if there is an article or a plural noun, or if you're unsure of the spelling, you could actually write down two different versions of this word because there is no negative marking. So let's say if you're not sure about the spelling of briefcase, you could write briefcase 2 times and the exam will only select the correct one. No negative marking, and you get a point for the correct briefcase. If you don't know if it's the past or present tense, or if you don't know if there is an S at the end, like a plural noun, write both words. This is like one of the biggest tips that I can possibly share with you because this part of the exam has a lot of marks and we need to get all of them. So if you're not sure, write down 2 words. Now, keep in mind that there is a time limit. You'll still be thinking at about 50 seconds per question. So it doesn't mean you can spend several minutes writing down whatever you want. Don't have too much fun with it. Just quickly write down a and the, or a the, if you're not sure what the article is. Spend about 50 seconds here. We're working fast. Now remember, with any part of the PTE academic test, you're not really there to show your intelligence. You're there to collect points. It is an algorithm. It is a test. So we need to understand test strategies. If you feel more challenged in the speaking, writing, or reading section, do go check out our other videos because we have full classes, full videos dedicated to those sections. Just like this one, we have tips and strategies that are not seen elsewhere and guaranteed to give you high scores. If you follow the instructions in today's video, following the tips and strategies, you will get your desired score. Prioritize high-value questions. Push aside the low-value questions, still attempt them, but don't waste time. If you're going to take the PTE Academic test soon, do comment down below when you will take it, because there are some updates coming up and we want to plan and prepare you for that. Now, if you want more videos like this, please remember to subscribe to the channel. It helps us help you. You could also like that video. I would really appreciate it. That's all for the listening section of PTE Academic. Pleasure doing business with you. I'll see you in the next one.